Straight Talk with your host, Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, all right here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
All right now, you requested a topic and Reggie listened. Everybody knows that your host, Reggie, doesn't mind taking on the tough topics. And today, we have one of those topics. Who would be a better mate? Recently, a transgender woman listed the reasons why a transgender would make a better mate than a woman. So right here on Simply Straight Talk, Reggie is going to weigh the scales on both sides. I got to hear this. Take it away, Reggie.
Welcome. And Amber, I hope you are listening because you know, Amber, that this is a controversial topic. You know this topic gonna bring some heat. But you know what? We don't run from no topics here at Simply Straight Talk. So we're gonna call it like it is. We did a little survey. We asked people what topic that they want to hear discussed on the show. And so this is the topic that they chose. As you heard the sweet Amber say, who would be the better mate? Now, the reason this came up, and I'm sure because I did a little research, as we sat in the production meeting, we was talking about this. And from my understanding, a young lady by the name of Brittany Keed made a video, and the video basically was outlining the reasons that a transgender woman would be a better mate than the natural born woman. Now, listening to her, which I had to do because in order to do the show, I got to understand where she's coming from with this. What's the point she was trying to get across in her video regarding transgender women making better mates than natural born women? Now, she did say that she feels like this did not cover the basis for all transgender women. She just felt like, I'm assuming this now based on her experience, that these reasons she listed are reasons why transgender women would make a better mate. Now, I did a little research and production team did a little research, and there are several videos out there actually that outline pretty much the same thing. They're all pretty much staying in the same context of their reasoning for listing transgender women as being better mates. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you know who, or what a transgender person is. And because there's been a lot of talk about transgenders as far as, their rights as bathrooms, their rights to get married. So there's a whole world going on centered around the rights of a person being transgender. And which I didn't know is something that came up in our production meeting is that a lot of transgenders are being assaulted or beaten up when they go out. And I was kind of curious because when I was listening, they was kind of giving me the details. They were saying that a lot of transgenders would say, oh, I prefer to stay home. And it's because, unfortunately, people are attacking them when they go out. I had no idea. I didn't know. So call me blind to that. But apparently that's what's going on. Now, right off the bat, I know people are going to say, well, why are you covering this? I'm covering this because it's my job. 2, it was production meetings, what people voted on. And 3, I don't judge how people live their lives. I don't get involved how people live their lives or what they do with their lives if they're not hurting anybody else. If they're not hurting or harming anybody else, I don't get involved because it's not my place to judge them. It's not my place to say how you feel, what you think, or anything like that. Okay? So now let's go ahead and just jump into this, okay? Because I was looking over the reasons, and actually since the meeting, I have been sort of reviewing these in my head because I have to be fair about this. I really do. Now, this is not to say that I date transgenders. This is just to say that I'm trying to look at their viewpoint of why they would say this, but I understand a woman why she would counter these points. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the points that some members of the transgender community have spoken out as saying that these would be benefits to dating a transgender. basically, as the topic of the show is, who would be the better mate, a transgender woman or a regular woman? Now, that alone is going to stir up some fight, okay? And I'm not trying to stir up no fight. I'm just going to weigh the odds on what has been said, okay? Let's put it like that. This is going to be confrontational. It's going to be some kickback. We know it. In the production meeting, we said it. But you know what? That's what we're here for, to spark conversation. And remember, in this show, we discuss views and opinions, and we understand that everybody may not agree, but everybody has a right to voice their opinion. These are their opinions and their thoughts. So we are going to speak on them, negative and positive. Okay? Let's get on with it. All right. First one they said was, transgenders are easier to get along with. That was the first option. They said as far as why transgenders are better to date. They're easier to get along with. The second, they understand better what men are going through because, well, we all know they're transgender. They have been men. So they understand what men have gone through as they were at one point living their lives as men, but now they're living their lives as women. So I guess with that, they're saying that they could be a little more supportive and understanding of what a man may be going through. Now, just playing the devil's advocate here. So if you're saying that a transgender woman, a man who has transformed himself in a woman, could understand better what a man is going through, so a woman transgendering in a man, is it safe to say that she does not understand what a man is going through? So if she's dating a woman, is it safe to say that she's missing out? That she's not fully informed? She's not fully on the other understanding of what it really takes to be a man in this world? I'm just saying, like I said, I'm looking at both sides of this thing. Okay, the next one they said transgenders are much more open-minded and not judgmental. And they stated this because, and this is what they're saying. Basically, they're saying that transgenders are more open-minded and not judgmental because of what they've been through during their transition and because of the fact that, they've had to go through some things to become the person they feel they are now and how they live their life. So with that, they're more open-minded and they're not judgmental on people. Okay? Transgenders are much more flexible and stronger because of what they go through. Now, she did clarify that when she says stronger, she doesn't mean in strength. She meant just stronger in personality, mindset. They're more flexible to go along with changes and things that needs to be done. Transgenders are more feminine and girlier than regular girls. Okay. Now, I know that one is going to stir something up. But like I said, on this show, we look at the pros and cons. We hear everybody out. We don't get upset because everybody has their point of view and we respect everybody's point of view. Okay. Now, the next thing was they appreciate the little things more, like hugs, kisses, holding hands, a rose, going to the movies. The simple things they appreciate more than the regular girl. Okay. And some of them said because that's things that they never got when they was younger coming up. So to get it when they're at an age where they can understand it, they appreciate it a little more. Now, here's one. They said that transgenders cannot get pregnant, and some guys consider this a benefit. Well, you can't really argue that. They can't get pregnant. Ain't nothing you can say about that at all. They cannot get pregnant. So with that being said, I guess for guys who are into transgenders and don't want to have kids or anything like that, that would be a benefit. It would be a benefit for someone who is interested in a transgender. They don't get periods. Okay. Now here's where women are going to kick back on that. This is what she said in her reasoning that men would choose transgenders over women, is just one of the reasons, actually, not the main reason, but one of the reasons that they don't get periods. Women, I'm telling you right now, are going to argue back. That is the exact reason that you're not a woman. I'm just saying that's what women are going to say. That's part of being a woman. You can't do that. You don't have periods, so you're not a woman. You can't get pregnant, so you're not a woman. So, like I'm looking at both sides here. I'm looking at both sides. And that's something that women are going to come back and say. The other thing Well, the final reason they said is that sexually, they are anal 100% of the time. And they say some consider that to be a benefit in dating. Now, I don't know if that's a benefit because you have some women that like that too. So, and some women do that when there is that time of the month. So I can't see that as being a benefit. I mean, for you as a transgender, it may be a benefit for the fact that that's pretty much the only way you can go about that. But for a woman, there's two options. So sorry, LGBTQ community, I got to get that one to the women. Okay. So, but those were the reasons that they listed regarding why a transgender would be a better mate. Now, these things can be argued up and down because some of these things are not really based on a person's gender or being a transgender or being a woman or being a man or whatever, or being gay or lesbian. It is really not about that. Some of these things is just about a person's mentality. It's about what they believe should be taking place in a relationship. And some of it is just their upbringing, their environment, and who they are, what they've seen. But, it's just, I get where they're going with some of these, and I'm going to comment more in the second segment because I'm going to kind of get deep into these because, to be honest with you, I can see where the transgender community would feel like, wow, these are some pluses for us over today's modern women. And basically that's what it is, because as I look at some of these things they got on the list, and I'm thinking about today's modern women versus the more traditional women, in the world of the more traditional women, I don't think the transgender community would win on some of these items they got listed. But versus the modern day woman, some of these, I think they may actually have a little slight advantage over. Now, this is just based on what I've been researching and some of the things I've been watching, because when we put this together, we really did kind of look into couples and relationships and, from the heterosexual side to the transgender side, we kind of tried to find out what was going on, like what made each one stand out. But I do personally feel like a lot of this stuff is based on the individual. It's not based on gender. Is not based because you're a transgender or because you're a heterosexual woman. So I think a lot of this stuff is based on your history, your environment, your upbringing that will make you adapt these traits. Now, who will be the better mate? Well, that question will ultimately be answered by a person's preference. Now, when they say who will be a better mate, this is specifically talking about women dating men, transgender dating men. So this is basically who will be the better mate for a man, a woman versus a transgender. And I can tell you this, a couple of women were really upset about this list because they were saying there's enough competition for men in this world today. So you're telling me now that we have to compete with the transgender community for men? I mean, it's tough because you know what? Truthfully speaking, and I'm not going to change the subject, but just to balance it out, to be honest with you, even men these days, it's normally when a man is competing for a woman, it's man versus man, like which one of us is going to get this woman. But even in today's society, it's more like we're not only competing against our fellow brother, our man, to see who's going to be able to be the lucky one to have this woman, but we're also competing against women. Because there are times when you look at a woman and say she's attractive and you want to talk to her, but she's not interested in you. She's interested in other women. So the dating pool right now is so cluttered and I can't even describe it. But I'm going to have to figure out some way to describe it because we're about to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into these and we're going to figure out what are we going to call today's dating pool? I mean, how do you mix this blend? So if you're in a relationship, man, you better stay with it because it's hard out here for a pimp. You hear what I'm saying? Trust me, I'm single. I know.
Don't even think about it. We got more straight talk just for you.
Right, Simply Straight Talk family. We want to return the love you have shown us back to you. Reggie will be giving away great prizes during certain Simply Straight Talk podcast shows, so make sure you subscribe and listen to the show for your chance to win. Just imagine being able to take 4 people to the movies, a free night in a hotel, a gift card with cash for a restaurant, or one of our Simply Straight Talk podcast shirts. There will be other prizes as well. For more information, visit our website at www.rmviaging.com and click on Simply Straight Talk Podcast in the menu.
We're back with the conversation starter and the voice that works harder. Your host, Reggie.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And we are talking about the ultimate confrontational question. Who would be a better mate between a transgender woman and a natural-born woman? This topic was brought up in a survey we conducted with our audience to hear what they wanted us to talk about. And this is the topic that was voted number one. There was a couple others which we're going to filter out through the week, but this was the topic that was voted on. Now, some of the things that we came up with, well, not that we came up with, but in our research, here's some of the things that was mentioned. Just a quick recap from the first segment. Transgenders say they are easy to get along with. They have a better understanding of what men are going through because they were men before. They are much more open-minded, not judgmental, much more flexible and stronger because of what they went through to become the person they believe they are now or who they are now. They're more feminine and girly than regular girls. They appreciate the little things more than regular girls, like hugs, kisses, holding hands. They cannot get pregnant. They say some guys consider that a benefit, and they don't get periods, which some guys consider that a benefit, and they are 100% anal, which, that's all they can do. So now what we're going to do in this part is we're going to kind of go through these and just kind of, we're going to kind of look at both sides, the woman side and the transgender side. Now, like I said, we try to be fair. So we're going to be fair with both sides. So women, we're not hating on you. Transgender community, we're not hating on you. Okay. We just want to be honest and upfront. Now, I'm looking at this from a male perspective. Okay. From a man. I'm looking at this from a man perspective. Now, I'm a man that likes women. Now, a man who's into transgenders may have a different viewpoint than I do. But since they just categorize this as men in general, this is the benefit, I'm going to speak for me as a man. I can't say all men because some men disagree. Some men agree, some won't. But anyway, to get to what we're going through, are transgenders easier to get along with? Well, now I do have some transgender friends, okay? Because when you work and you're in a business, you own your own business, you work with a lot of people. So I do have some transgender friends. Now, I wouldn't say that they are all easier to get along with. I say some are easier to get along with, and I'm speaking from a work perspective. Now, from a dating perspective, it may be a little different. Now, I did talk to my friend Roderick. Okay, now he dates a transgender, and I got a little bit of insight from him. And he kind of agrees with the number one and number two item they put on their list. He says that he feels that they are easier to get along with. And he says that his mate does seem to understand him better because his mate previously, this is confusing. His mate previously being a man kind of understands sometimes what he goes through. So it's helpful. I said, okay, but I came back with, couldn't a woman understand the same thing? But maybe you just had to give her a little more explaining. And he was like, that's the point. You have to explain, and sometimes I can't. I got you. Not hating on you, bro. Do your thing. Okay. So I see that. Now he says, he didn't say, but they said transgenders are much more open-minded and not judgmental. I think that just depends on the person. I don't think you can say that transgenders are more open-minded than women. I think that, it just depends on the person. Some people are open-minded and not judgmental. Some people are just judgmental no matter what. So I think that just depends on the person. If you got somebody who's been hurt in a relationship a lot, then they may not be as open-minded and they may be a little more judgmental. But I sort of can see where they say that with the transgenders because of what they've done to become, whether they want to be, they want to be a woman. So maybe they may be a little less pull back because maybe they was someone who was maybe hefty and was picked on. And so they kind of feel like, I don't want to go through that anymore. But you can say that for a woman too. A woman could have been picked on and bullied. And so she may feel like, I don't want to do that to other people. So that can go both ways. They're much more flexible and stronger. I can see that. But I can also see that for, like I said, a lot of these I think can go both ways. It depends on the person. More feminine and girly than regular girls. Now, we actually took a vote for this in the office, and you will be surprised how many men say that transgenders are more feminine than regular women today. Now, that can be a result of the fact that a lot of women feel like, they have to be hard, they have to be strong, they have to have a man's mentality in this world, and it comes out. And some men, they want a feminine woman, and a feminine woman doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that, it's a woman. She likes to take care of herself, nails done, hair done. She's not out there trying to lift the car and do all this other stuff. It's nice to know that she can do it, but if she has a man, let him do it. So, a real man would do it. But, anyway, I have seen that because I do notice that a lot of girls today are really sort of manly in certain ways. They appreciate the little things more: hugs, kisses, holding hands, opening the doors. Now, from my experience, I have dated women who I've tried to open the door for, and you would have thought that I chained them to a chair and told them to, pick cotton or something. Because I don't know, it's just, chivalry is something very important. I think a lot of men like that, but it's kind of difficult when you find certain women embrace it, certain women don't. So it's just kind of tough. So I think a transgender who's, becoming a woman or lives a life as a woman, I can see the fact that they never had that. So for them, it's like, yes, open the door, hold my hand. As for girls, you've had that all the time. Natural women have had that. So for them, it's like, okay, yeah, here we go. Or they're just used to it. But there are some women who do appreciate it and do like it. So I can go 50-50 on that one as far as appreciating the little things. Because I can see if you're a male becoming a woman, you didn't have those things, so you're getting them now and you love it. But I can see as a woman, you had those things all your life, so you're just used to it. It's like every day for you. So I get that. They cannot get pregnant. Now I can see that's kind of tough because if you meet a guy who does want to get pregnant, have kids, but then again, you can adopt, but you can't go through the natural childbirth process. So, but like I said before, women will see that as a point of, you're not a woman. The other thing that I mentioned was that they can't get periods. So women will say the same thing. You're not a woman. Sexual intercourse can only be done from an anal position. So with the same thing, women are going to say, because more women are open to that now, and they can say, well, I have both. So I'm trying to keep this clean, y'all, because I'm trying not to get a dirty rating, but I do have to rate these shows when they're posted. So I'm probably going to, this show is probably going to get a little bit of elevated rating than normally, but it's not going to be an R or anything like that. But the thing about it is, there's going to be advantages and disadvantages, going to be pros and cons, but this list is going to be determined by the individual. It's not going to be determined by gender. It's not going to be determined by a man or woman. It's going to be determined by an individual and their preference, what they like. Now, as you read that list, it's like I said, especially now the feminine part, I noticed that more women are not feminine these days. And there was actually a young lady, I got to look up, and I think it was CC Red. She had a great video on YouTube about women and being feminine and how it was not a sign of weakness. So I definitely recommend you find that. I'll find it and I'll put it in the link below too, so you can watch it. But there's nothing, I think that's something that men are looking for, but it's sort of hard to find. Because I've seen women that spit and women that curse like men, they walk like men, they act like men, but they want to be treated like a woman. So that one I kind of get. But like I said, it's not to say that you can't find transgenders who fit this list 100%, and that's who they are. And so for someone who's interested in them, that's what would be their preference. They would be very happy. But then again, a man can find a woman who exonerates this same list, and he could be completely happy. So with that being said, If you guys just hang in there, we'll be right back, and we're going to come right back with the final thoughts of the show. And I hope you're enjoying this. And don't forget, we do have giveaway and prizes. All you got to do is subscribe on the website, which will be posted down below in the link in the show notes. So to make sure that you join and you can win right here on Simply Straight Talk.
Free your mind, free your voice right here on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, are you looking for some great music, upbeat and with a positive voice? Well, the song I Stand With You is exactly what you need. This timeless song has a pop version sung by Audrey Carmel. And a reggae version sung by General Steele, now known as Revelation.
Now I know some days you may feel blue, Lord. Trust in your greatness to see you through.
These songs are now available on iTunes and other digital platforms for download. Don't miss out. Get your copy today.
Give life your best, and I know.
Are you ready for the straight truth? Reggie, what's the final word for today?
All right, everybody, welcome back to the final thoughts of the show. And today we are talking about who would be a better mate between a transgender woman and a natural born woman with a man. Now, in this show, we discuss several reasons that a young transgender woman posted on YouTube stating why she felt transgenders, women, would make better mates for men. These are her viewpoints. And regardless of whether you agree with somebody living a transgender lifestyle, a lesbian or gay lifestyle, we have to respect a person's views to live their life the way they want. We also have to respect the fact that, yes, there's going to be competition. There's going to be some conflicts between both sides because we're not always going to agree with what somebody says. And when somebody adapts a lifestyle, they're going to adapt their own philosophies and beliefs about why their lifestyle is better and how they are better suited for a certain group, certain people, certain individuals. But you know what? In order to be happy, you have to find out what is it about you that makes you happy. Because you can't make somebody else happy if you're not happy. You cannot give somebody else what they need to be better in life if you don't know what you need to be better in your life. Now, transgender women and naturally born women, they're not going to agree on this. They're just not. But like we said, everybody is entitled to their views. Everybody is entitled to their thoughts on what they feel would make them better. I'm pretty sure that same list that the transgender women put together, some transgender women put together, it's not all inclusive, but there are a group of women who could probably sit down, or maybe one woman who can sit down and say, listen, I fit that list. That list is me. So that list is not just you. That list is me. So you can't say that it only applies to you or that those are the reasons you feel. Now, do you agree with the list or don't you? I mean, what is your preference? How do you feel about that? So, honestly, how do you feel about it? I'm curious to hear from the women and the men. Tell me, how do you feel about it? But do it without being rude. Don't be disrespectful. Just say, hey, I agree with it and this is why, or I don't agree with it and this is why. Because it's already known that when it comes to transgender women, a lot of women were saying that, wow, we're really having to compete with men, with you. And you know what? It's kind of tough because I have heard in some, like my friend Reggie, and I did get his permission before I started the show because I asked him, what is it that made you transition from the regular woman to a transgender woman? And for him, he said that it was somebody that just accepted him for who he is. Now, I'm not saying that that's everybody. That's his situation. And I got to give him respect because he sat there and let me ask him questions, because I needed to get a different insight and viewpoint for the show. I needed to understand someone else's side of you and not just my own. Because For me, like I can tell you about relationship with women because that's who my relationship is with. I wish I had somebody today. Call me Kalita Smith. Okay, I just had to throw that little plug in. No, but you know what? It's just the fact that I needed somebody who is living that life that can tell me about it because I don't know about it. So it was good. And I appreciate you, Roger, for sharing with me and enlightening me on certain things about your personal life because I think it really helped to make this story great. But you know what? The bottom line was he found somebody that accepted him for who he was, and he has found happiness. So I think we all have to find out what is it that's going to bring happiness to us, who is bringing happiness to us. And that is how you got to go about life. It's finding out what makes you happy, and more importantly, how do you make you happy? Hey, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to join us next week. We're going to have more topics, man. We're going to be talking about some great stuff. And don't forget, check it out. Check out the website. Check out the website. As always, I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here on the Simply Straight Talk Show.
Thank you for tuning into today's show. Be sure to subscribe for more motivational topics based on real-life conversations, and don't forget to rate, review, and share our show so we can continue to bring you the best in real-life conversations. Join us next week right here on Simply Straight Talk.